Get that smile away. Kill the music, Debbie. You see now. I'm directing my show once again, Richard Giovanni. Our special guest for tonight from the Grimms, the creator.
Thank you.
You're a master.
Thank you.
Rich,
Thank you for having me.
That's all I have to say. I was checking the website. I was so impressed with the colors, the characters, your mind. I tell you, I'm very happy to be back. I was kind of off for 2 weeks, but I'm back again. Felt kind of weird not to be here.
What'd you do with your 2 weeks?
Well, I was busy. I couldn't be here. I had some things to do, but I felt that I was kind of like not dead, but when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Right, exactly.
Something is missing.
All your viewers missed you, so I'm sure that they're saying, where is she?
It's so good to be back. I'm wearing a dress. Summertime is here. I gotta get some color to get a little pretty. Somebody's coming. Dwayne Harris is coming by. We have you here, and we're pretty much ready very soon to show a little clip if we can. Dwayne Harris, is it ready now? It's gonna go. The Grimms. I want to see it, Gloria, so please show it to us when you're ready. Fade to black and show me the grips. I'm waiting. It's not coming out. There you go. Where's the music? Can you hear the music? I want to hear the music. There you go. Look at that.
Clap your hands. Everybody shout. We're the Grimms. We're the band. Playing where we can. We're the Grimms. We're the band. Playing one night stands. Come along and sing our song. We're gonna rock it all night long. Here we come.
I love this song.
Come on, let's go.
It's so
It's time for fun.
Energy.
energetic.
That's what I wanted. I wanted energy, happy, peppy. We achieved that.
You got it. Guys, can you come back to us? Come back to us. That was very beautiful. The
Thank
blue
you.
colors, but I got to come to you, Rich. How you make it happen. Before we start conversation, I want to thank everybody, Gloria Messer, Debbie, Paul, and Sound Baby. I love you. I love the glasses, and I'm trying to pick you up. Dwayne Harris. I love Dwayne Harris. I think he's one of the greatest.
Dwayne's a great guy.
He's a great collaborator of mine. Ali, we have Ali. Did I say it right? As musical guest. Ali, please help me out with your last name. Potosnak. Potosnak. Ali Potosnak. Now I got it. She's going to be with us too. Okay, I want to think who else I'm forgetting. Nobody else? Oh, Chris Kosak. Gloria, I hear you now. Chris Kosak, the voice that sells, sending my love to you and to my relatives, my family, my cousins, my aunts, everybody else. My people in England, they're watching the show in England.
Really?
Maria and Darren and all my friends, thank you for your support. I love you both. In Argentina and Costa Rica. Now I can breathe. Man, I didn't even drink, Rich. And people, when they see me, they say, Sissy, what are you on? Do you take any drugs? What do you do? Keep myself very clean.
High on life.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
This is what it is.
Good.
Rich, let's talk about you, your work, your creation, the Grimms. How you came up with this wonderful idea? It's like the characters.
Well,
the story.
Thank you. I'm a musician.
Yes,
and
a drummer.
A drummer. Been
Yes.
playing drums for many years, and I'm a cartoonist, a graduate of the School of Visual Arts here in New York, and after working in the advertising field and freelancing for years and playing in various bands, about 3 years ago, I decided I wanted to work on a project and create something that combined the two passions, which is rock and roll and my cartooning. So I started to develop this idea aimed at kids, about these four minstrels and their friend that lived 500 years ago.
500 years, yes.
And they were celebrities of playing, the instruments in the days of Robin Hood. And
that's so cool. You see what you just said?
Yeah.
Playing what?
Instruments in the days of Robin Hood.
In the days of Robin Hood.
Right.
How cool
And they
is
come from that era.
Okay.
And there was an evil wizard that was very jealous of them. So he casts a spell on them, and he turns them into these ugly little, hairy little monsters that we call Grimms, and banishes them for 500 years, until their friend and wizard finds a temporary spell 500 years later, and turns them back into humans, but only from sunset to sunrise. And they resurface now as the Grimms. And that's the basic storyline. We have many, many other characters.
Right.
And
Winston? is one of the main characters,
Winston,
right?
Mac, Emerson,
who's the quiet guy, the kind of like introverted.
and spiritual one, and
Spiritual,
Mooney,
yes.
who's the crazy wild drummer.
I love that.
And those are the four Grimps, and then their friend and wizard is Magic Alex. And then we have the evil wizard Spectre, and we have various other characters. And with the concept, when I started developing it, one of the things I wanted to do was remembering when the Monkees were created 40-something years ago. They were actually put together as a spoof on the popularity of the Beatles at the time, and they put this TV show about this band, and they got original music of unknown songwriters like Carole King and Paul Simon at the time and Neil Diamond.
Incredible.
And they produced all this big hit records and music. So my intention with this project also is we're going to be producing, and we're in the process of doing it, creating original rock and roll music that is presented to the public through this cartoon band. So it has two facets to it.
Okay.
And even though it's intended for kids, you know, we really believe from the response we've been getting so far that adults and the grandparents, I mean parents and grandparents, are going to really, you know, get into this project.
Right.
We have several musicians, famous musicians that are already showing interest and involved, like Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Peter Noon, and
Oh, wow. That's
Jack
pretty
Douglas, who has interest in producing the band in the studio, and Jack Douglas has done all of Aerosmith's work, John Lennon, Cheap Trick, and
Pretty big names right there.
yeah, so we have a lot of interest from some good people in the music business, and you know, we're in the midst of producing original music, and continuing to, you know, write stories on the project, and that's a little bit of the background of how I got, you know, the project started so far. And it's doing real well. It's a lot of fun. It's really
And it's a lot of work too.
It's been a lot of work, but it's a labor of love. It's been
course.
terrific. You know, the writing is fun. I get to develop the characters. One of the fun part of the project and the subtleties of it is that a lot of the characters' names are from historic names from rock and roll. Nothing that the kids would know, or if it doesn't matter. It's just for the fun of it on my end. I remember when my kids were young,
You're still young.
but
when they were babies.
when they were babies, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were out, and all the kids knew Michelangelo and Donatello, these
They know all the
Renaissance
names.
faces as turtles,
Yes.
not as Renaissance. So I took the same type of approach with the names of our characters for this project. So they're all from rock and roll history, and it's been a lot of fun.
What did they say? What did your daughter and son, what did they say about this?
They, I've been bothering them since they're little kids, showing them drawings and all of that. So they're used to me, you know, pushing all this. But they actually love it.
Good, they should.
They love, you know, what I'm doing with it. They like the music, even though they're into different styles of music as well. And they just love the creativity that they see of, you know, putting this together.
And as a cartoonist, I mean, that's a skill. How do you do that? I mean, I guess it's a silly question, but I'm kind of wondering.
Well, I've been started like any old kid, as you know, as a little kid, just picked up and started doodling or whatever. But I pursued it, and I seemed to have an interest in it, and was pretty good. And went to art school, School of Visual Arts, and I studied cartooning with Harvey Kurtzman, who created Mad Magazine.
Oh, wow.
And he was a great mentor, and I learned a lot from him. And but when I draw, it's just, you know, I go into my own little world, and
you can draw anything, Richard?
Well, not anything.
I mean,
as far as cartoons, that's my forte. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fine art painter or anything like that, or even a character, you know, person that does caricatures of, you know, you see on the street, and you know, and they do it really fast, and, you know, $25, and that's not me. I like to create something fresh. And,
okay. Because I read that those guys in the street, they've been to school in China. I was trying to see if I can express myself to one of them, because they are so fast. And I wondered, guys, how do you guys do it? And they couldn't understand. Like, I was like spent almost 1 hour one day, I remember, just talking to them. And all those guys been to school in China for about
Really?
5-6 years.
I stand on the
Yes.
street in amazement and I see them, how fast that they knock it out.
How they can do that?
No,
You
I
think-
don't know.
mean,
See,
it's-
that's a different type of talent with it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I play Pictionary with people and they think I'm going to be like the best, but I take so long because I'm trying to do, I can't really, that's just my thing. That's why like when I kind of go into my own little world when I go to my drafting table,
Your
because I
drafting
take all
table.
my own time. Yeah, I still do it traditionally.
You do it that way.
Pencil, paper.
Nice.
But then, we've taken the technology and, scan
Right.
it in. And
Of course.
all the colors that you see now, that's all done on the computer and all of that. But
And when you're creating, what do you do? I mean, like, what's the hours? Like from morning hours, nighttime? I mean,
whenever I'm inspired.
Whenever you feel inspired.
I actually work the best and have the most fun late at night because
Late at night.
it's totally quiet. I'm
No
away
music?
from everything. Sometimes. Sometimes not. It depends
What kind
on
of
my
music?
mood.
What kind of music?
It's my
brings
mood
you
at the
there?
time. I'll put classical on or I'll put, rock and roll on. So it just depends on my mood, at the time. But I'll sit there and just zone out and go into my own little world, and it's a lot of fun. And that's how the Grimps came out. It started to be, I had this germ of an idea. And I started to develop the idea, and then who are the characters, and started to sketch them out. And by the end of the night when I'm drawing, the whole place is filled with paper because I'm just
Oh, that's
crumpling
so
it up and throwing
exciting.
it, throw it because it's.
And you make a mess, and your wife gets upset with you. You guys fight about that.
No,
I
she
can
doesn't.
see
She
that,
doesn't
Richard.
make.
Oh, she's
I
not
make
gonna
a
put the
mess, but I clean up after myself.
Oh, she's a lucky woman. That's my husband to go and do the dishes after I cook. I cook and do the dishes and clean the toilet. I'm from the old school, Richard. I'm not going to change. You see how I was cleaning the table with some Windex?
Yeah, I
see-
saw you in the beginning
You
of
see
the
how I
show.
was cleaning the stage? When I'm done plays, I always sweep the stage.
Was there a strike
and
here
mop
today?
it? Yeah. I mean, it's like, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get your hands dirty. That's the
Yeah.
only way to get the job done.
But that's how I work. I work late at night in my room, do it traditionally with the pen, and I would keep out working out the characters until, I get them the way I want, and then I'll go into, a pen and ink stage and just take it from there. So it's really been a labor of love. We're at the point right now with the project where we have everything developed.
Okay.
But we're at the biggest hurdle, which is either looking for financing or finding a home with a network for distribution.
Right.
That's really now the next part of it. So we've written pilots. We have many storylines done.
What about the actors?
What do you mean,
Or
voiceovers?
the voiceovers.
Well, the voiceovers.
I have Gloria Messer. I tell you, she can make you laugh, right? When she talks, Gloria.
Yeah, Gloria. I'll find a character for her.
Yeah, I know. She opens her mouth and I start laughing. That's how good she is.
She has a great voice.
She does.
Great voice.
She really does.
But I have a lot of voices in mind of how I want the characters since I've developed them. But that'll be, once I get some kind of deal going and I get into production, that'll be the fun part because then I get to go into the recording studio with the songwriters and
Nice.
start having fun and creating music again. And then I'll be able to work with the animators. I've made several trips and back and forth to California, learning about how the animation's done now and trying to see how my work would fit into getting something done. So I've been doing a lot of research and behind the scene things, and that's all going to be the fun work when it starts to bring it to life. And with the voices, the same thing, because I have certain types of sounds in my head. I got a lot of things going up here waiting
A
for
lot
it
of
to
things
come
going
out.
on. We're getting ready for music, Ali, in just about a second. But before we go to you, I gotta ask you about Bon Jovi. We were talking about Bon Jovi, and I want to, because I'm such a huge fan. I'm a huge
fan too.
fan. Did you play with him the same night, the same club?
Yeah, we back in the late 70s, I was a drummer in a band in New York City and playing all the rock clubs like Max's Kansas City and things like that. And we were actually played one night in Brooklyn at a club called Zappa's that's also no longer there. This goes back about 1979, 1980, and Bon Jovi was
Oh my God.
was on the club circuit at that time.
Look! Look! I'm getting the goosebumps. You can't fake it. You can't fake it. And he wasn't in it, right there that night, right?
He was right there. Stage wasn't much bigger than this room right here. It was a small club in Brooklyn on Quentin Road, and it was those were fun times. We played with Cyndi Lauper, Madonna.
With everybody.
It was good.
We need more time, you and me. But Ali, it's all about you, baby girl. Bring it on. Come here. Come to Mama. Give me a hug. I have my mic.
And then I'll get my.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Thank you for having me. Now, I want to have you singing, but before we have you singing, I want to talk about a little bit about you. As a musician, your background a little bit. Give us a little story. We can get entertained.
Okay, well, in high school, I didn't sing until I got to college because I was all into sports. I just